Library bill, which we've been following, House Bill 384, passed through the House State Affairs Committee with flying colors yesterday. It was the 11-2, that was the vote. Overwhelming, albeit party line support, despite the overwhelming opposition to the bill, those who were heard and those who signed up to testify. During our coverage of the Children's School and Library Protection Act moving to the full House, we drew attention to how that committee meeting was controlled by the chair. That'd be Representative Brent Crane from Nampa. It seemed to loosely follow Mason's Manual of Legislative Procedure, which are the House rules at the Idaho Capitol. But as we pointed out yesterday, loosely followed is one way to put it. Unabashed indifference, well, that might be another. But how would Representative Crane put it? While he was unavailable yesterday, he did take some time to tell us today.
But just to outline for everybody watching today, every chairman is given the flexibility to run their meeting the way that they feel appropriate. So your job is to run the meeting. Committee will under consideration House Bill 384, Representative Crane. But one of the difficult things as being the chairman is you're trying to run the meeting, but you also have questions as well. But I do have a question for you. You can ask questions if you want to ask questions. You've got to be limited, and that's why I said that. So I'll ask one more question. The chair's not supposed to ask many questions, but I'll ask because this is of interest to me.
However, in Monday's meeting,
what would you have liked Representative Crane to include in the bill?
Chairman Crane asked,
do you think it's a good idea that we put some of those provisions in place?
Quite a few questions.
Can you show me where the censoring is at? Can you point to me the section in the bill that's requiring you to post a guard in there and lock your elevator, et cetera,
but also pointed out when others shouldn't.
I'm going to let that question stand, but I think you are asking a question you know the answer to.
Well, yes, I do.
Yeah, that's called leading the witness.
Despite seeming to do that same thing earlier in the hearing.
Just to drill further, so you're telling me that if I find a book offensive and I fill out this form, that they are not removing the book, they're just simply relocating the book somewhere in the library?
Mr. Chairman, that is correct.
Representative Crane's explanation?
I had not read his bill.
You hadn't?
No, I had not read his bill at all. So I wanted to know exactly what does your bill do? The narrative that's been out there is this is banning books, this is burning books. So I wanted to get it on the record in front of the committee. Is this banning books? Is this just moving books?
You hadn't looked at this bill at all?
No, I had not read the bill at all.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I don't read a lot of them. That I let them come and make their case to me as chairman as well. Some chairmen like to read through the bill prior to having a hearing. I'm more conceptual, so I'll have them come into my office, tell me about the concept. What are you trying to do? Then that way I can approach it just like any other member and see it fresh. Here's what they're trying to do. Okay, great, and then I can make my determination.
Questions are one thing. Running a meeting while remaining neutral is another. According to the Mason's Manual, like you're supposed to, as a chair, remain unbiased, kind of give equal opportunity to both sides. At one point,
and I haven't heard a library yet that doesn't have a policy. It sounds like they all have a policy. It's not working. These books still are coming up.
Might be a good fit for a different 15-year-old.
I'm sorry, Paige, these are not appropriate for any 15-year-old kid. Yep.
Does that sound unbiased?
No, it's probably coming from a source of frustration. This is the third year that this bill has come before my committee. I'd like to get the issue resolved. Parents are continuing to complain to us and saying, hey, look, there's a problem. These books are appearing in our libraries. And the content that we've seen over the last 3 years, that stuff doesn't have any business in being the hands of a minor.
Should that be in the hands of the legislature, or should that be a local decision based on the library and their boards?
The problem is the legislature's having to step in because the libraries are failing to have policies that are addressing these particular issues.
So Crane's self-review of his handling of his House State Affairs Committee.
Not a single member of this body or of my committee has said anything about it.
We did ask Representative Crane about the number of people who did sign up to testify during yesterday's hearing. 400 who were opposed to the bill versus only about 70 who were in favor of it. Meanwhile, the testimony entered the record. Well, that didn't quite match that ratio if you were listening. Representative Crane chalked it up to the hearing falling on a holiday, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And it was also Idaho Education Association Day at the State House. So he says all those people who normally wouldn't be at the Capitol, well, they were. The Children's School and Library Protection Act advanced, and it now waits a debate on the House floor.